Yeah. Okay.
Hi, my name's Ormaster 101,
I'm Zero.
and we're doing it live!
Not really. What game are we playing?
Halloween forever, because it's always Halloween.
Have we done a test recording?
Yes, we did a test recording.
Alright. First random fact. Lionesses can receive birth control implants. Zoos often do this so that lions can be social in their pride without the risk of having too many cubs.
Interesting.
There was a 500 BC predecessor to the Suez Canal that connected the Nile to the Red Sea, thus enabling a single water route to Malabar, India from Rome. It had water locks to solve higher elevation of the sea than the islands. Inlands. Yeah. Here's one I did some reading up on.
Uh-oh.
So in 2012 to early 2013, it was like late 2012 to early 2013. Family Guy Online, which was a multiplayer MMO, was a game that existed in beta. It never actually got full release.
Uh-huh.
But apparently it was made by Roadhouse Interactive and people developed on behalf of like Fox and the Family Guy crew.
Uh-huh.
It got shut down early after they said that the players were too stupid to comprehend the game. Initially, they had planned for like a 10 level. They had 10 levels, and then they were gonna try to expand like World of Warcraft did, and be more levels, and they had elaborate quests all set in Quahog, New England. We learned that players did not take well to the early version of the Family Guy, and her house says. They did not seem to understand the basic concepts of an MMO, such as quests and magic, or getting rewards. Many called the game extremely quote-unquote faggy and for nerds.
Whoa, hey there.
And they did like the non-sequitur cutscenes of the game, and it was the most positive review they made of it because it reminds them of the show. After observing many players struggling with the core system and battle mechanics, we tried to dumb down the mechanics so much as possible, to the point where it was a rock, paper, scissors battle system simpler than that of Pokemon. But most players couldn't seem to handle that. In fact, there were quite a few players that just kept trying to kill the Meg NPC permanently or make Lois be naked. Here are some statistics for it. So there were around 200 players online at any point in time at its peak, and about 2,000 players total. Of that, about a dozen or so actually made it to level 10. Then you had around... God fucking damn it. Sorry, my phone keeps going out. You there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Hang on one second.
I would say we're experiencing technical difficulties, but I wouldn't say they're really
standard for us.
Yeah. Did you send me another thing?
No.
Okay. I thought you were gonna show me art from the show.
So where was I?
You were I think it was about you were talking about the max amount of people online.
Yeah, okay. So you had about a dozen people manage to make it all the way to level 10. Around 300 people made it to level 5.
And level 10 was like the max?
Level 10 was the maximum level.
Oh, Jesus.
You had like 12 people make it to like level 10.
Oh, Jesus, my gay little heart who loves Final Fantasy XIV.
And then you had... It was about... it was around 400 managed to make it to level 5. And then almost 1,500 players couldn't progress past level 2. Like, couldn't figure out how to get past level 2.
Well, okay, I'm curious. What were the classes exactly? What are your classes in a Family Guy?
So apparently there was 3 basic classes. There was the tank base, where you're like all physical. There was the intelligence based, which used a lot of ranged attacks, and then you had a stealth base character, and it was basically like intelligence would beat tank, stealth would beat intelligence, tank would beat stealth. Pretty much.
Okay.
And you could like do different attributes to like build up your character. Now, more statistics. There were 117 giant chicken encounters per day. Because players just figured out how to spawn one, and they just kept fighting it. 90% of all text conversations on the game server were between players using Family Guy quotes to roleplay as the Family Guy character. So they were all quotes. With 60% of them being non sequitur jokes. Another quote from Roadhouse Interactive is, "We spoke with Seth MacFarlane and the crew about the game, and we asked if we should cater to his biggest fans, even if it makes making everything idiotic and nonsensical. And he replied by seeming to get very depressed and ask if we could talk about something else."
Okay, I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna be like, Nick, what the fuck? I feel kind of bad for Seth MacFarlane sometimes, because like this man actually feels like a very intelligent person.
He found a formula that creates trash, but it also creates money, and he used that to make TV shows. And then everyone else tried to make worse clones of it. One of those clones is not King of the Hill. People keep fucking telling me, like, oh, it's King of the... Like, it's like a Family Guy clone. Like, no, it's not. It's very much its own interesting thing.
King of the Hills also predated Family Guy, right?
I don't think it did. I think Family Guy is older because it started in the 90s. I'll look it up, though.
Okay, please.
King of the Hill start date. King of the Hill started in 1997, and then Family Guy... Oh yeah, no, it did predate Family Guy. Family Guy started in 1999.
Yeah, I thought so, because, like, I think in the first season of Family Guy, they did a Y2K they did a Y2K episode.
Yeah, I know that much.
I don't know where I was going with this. But, okay, so, like, I know a little bit about this as well. I don't remember how I got into it. I think it might have been, like, me, like, seeing through Tumblr and shit. But weren't the races, like, giant fat man, dog, and lady?
No, you can make your own custom character that would live in Quahog and be a Family Guy character.
Really?
Yes. And you could make them be a lady or a fat guy or... Yeah. Poor baby.
Or a baby.
This game was a fucking train wreck. Anyway, King of the Hill.
Yeah, King of the Hill's good.
King of the Hill is actually pretty interesting. King of the Hill is pretty fascinating for me because... So there's I've seen a conversation online about how we're switching away from like what happened to why like a lot of TV shows nowadays no longer do they do overarching stories. They do like interesting plot lines or like long form. They don't do just I'm blanking on the word. What's it called? Episodic. There's no more like episodic shows. Yeah. Because you look at like the Owl House or you look at Amphibia or like other prominent shows and compare those today to stuff like the Powerpuff Girls or Ed, Edd n Eddy. Or a classic example is you look at like Rugrats versus probably the next best, or SpongeBob, and then you look at the Avatar: Last Airbender and how there's those clear splits, and that's where it kind of started. Where it was like you have a big overarching plot, and people are like, "Well, why don't we do any of this? Why don't we have any more episodic shows?" And I think so many shows have story arcs nowadays because while episodic non-story driven shows can be a lot of fun to both watch and write for, it's a sitcom. It's like the sitcom problem of no matter what happens to your characters, no matter what goes on in your world in that episode, they cannot significantly change or grow in any major way because they have to return to the status quo at the beginning of the next episode. And that can work because it's like the Phineas and Ferb thing where like all of the crazy shit, they can do anything they want in an episode, gets reset by the end of it. But it also means that like your characters don't get to grow.
Yeah. Candace always, no matter what lesson Candace learns at the end of the day in these episodes, she still stays a crazy, insane person.
Yeah, it's the Charlie Brown effect. It's because it's iconic for like how Charlie Brown at the beginning of every episode tries to kick the football and Lucy pulls it away. It happens every episode in the Charlie Brown series. And no matter... Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I said uh-huh.
Yeah, and like no matter how many times Charlie learns to like not be so gullible, not be so trusting, and no matter how many times Lucy like has a development of like stop being so mean, at the beginning of the next episode, Charlie Brown goes to kick the football and Lucy pulls it away. Like they don't grow or change.
Right.
And I think that's where King of the Hill is very interesting because it shows that you can occasionally pull off character growth and relationship dynamics as well as emotional arcs in episodic shows. It's hard to do, but like in like King of the Hill, Hank Hill, the titular character, for being judgmental, stuck in his ways, a person that's all about industry and factory farms because that's what he grew up with, to being the co-owner of a hippie health food store
Oh
because
yeah, I
he met with
remember
their
that.
farmers and he realized that the sustainable, cruelty-free agriculture that they were doing made the best steaks he has ever eaten.
Yeah.
Or like, or how Hank go over the seasons bonds with Luann, and he goes from seeing her as a member of Peggy's family that he's like doesn't really care for and is annoying to she's still annoying, but she is a beloved and core member of his family. There's like that big episode thing where it's like she's been living in like his den.
Yeah.
And they like go back and they get like her trailer righted because like she moved in with them because the trailer got knocked over in like a tornado or something. They righted it back up, but that brought up a lot of trauma because like her mother was abusive and her dad was always gone, and then a tornado knocked over the trailer again. And then rather than they just decided to like say that it was destroyed now. And then when she returns, she's like she can sleep on the couch and everything. But Hank has actually turned the den that she was like sleeping on for almost a year into her own bedroom. With like an actual bed and everything. Or I love how Bobby goes from being the standard annoying sitcom kid to the best fucking character in the show.
I think regarding episodic like format cartoons, I think another thing that sort of ruined it, sort of is the reason why people are apprehensive of episodic stuff now. You know, people not growing and stuff. It's a mixture, like, I'm gonna say it, it's kind of the fault of these cartoons that are like these long form, like, something is happening over time sort of cartoons, like your Steven Universes and shit. And then just not having good episodic cartoons to counteract that, because when Steven Universe was out, the only other show that was episodic that was out was Teen Titans Go.
That's not entirely true, but I understand what you're saying.
Well, okay, so I'm going to use this as an example because it's very prevalent because it literally just came out.
During Steven Universe run, we also had like Gumball.
Right.
And Adventure Time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Adventure Time was getting into that weird portion of like it was like turning into like a overarching story sort of thing.
And at the same time, you also had regular show doing that as well, because like regular show started off as episodic, and then they did a season of story, then they did another season of episodic, and then their big finale was like an entire like 2-season long story arc.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anyway, what I was trying to say. So, semi-recently, and by semi-recently, I mean literally this last week, the Cuphead and Mugman show came out. And people did not perceive it very well because it what's the word? People thought it was going to be like a, what's it called? Like an overarching cartoon or like story cartoon. But it's not. It's an episodic, like, comedy cartoon, like your Looney Tunes and your Tom and Jerry's, and your so on and so forth. You know, the thing that, like, and it makes sense because it's supposed to emulate basically the cartoons of the 1930s. So of course it's not going to have an overarching storyline. I mean, it has a very small overarching storyline of like, Cuphead fucking with the devil and like getting his soul basically in the process of trying to get like repossessed. And honestly, Cuphead and Mugman was a good show for a comedy episodic series. But if you're going in expecting like an overarching story, you are going to be sadly mistaken.
That might have also been the video game expectation of, because in the video game you sort of have a overarching.
You do have a story in the video game, Cuphead and Mugman going to beat up people to get souls and shit, so they don't get soul napped. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen exactly. Netflix ordered 36 episodes for the series. 12 have been released for the first part, and the 12th episode ended on a cliffhanger, basically.
Okay.
So I don't know what's going to happen in the next 24 episodes. It might become more overarching and less episodic. I don't know, but we won't know until Netflix releases more.
Or we die, because World War III is coming.
Either way, go watch the Cuphead and Mugman show, and
don't watch Family Guy. It sucks.
Or at least watch like the first couple of seasons when it wasn't bad.
Watch King of the Hill. It's actually pretty easy.
Watch King of the Hill.
There's some really great episodes. There are some really bad episodes, but overall, it's a pretty good series.
There's some really sad episodes too.
Oh yeah.
Like Bobby trying to befriend a fucking raccoon, and then the raccoon maybe or maybe not having Bobby basically having to shoot his pet raccoon because it may or may not have rabies.
Or there's one that's actually kind of sad but touching, where it's like they do this whole weird episode where Joseph thinks he's actually alien, like born from aliens, because his dad is crazy. Well, his adopted dad, and like they're like, yeah, he's not like. They find out like they're not biologically related, but it's like all this other stuff, and then like Dale like comes in running to like try and save his kid from being abducted by aliens and everything. It's and they like hug each other and say that they're father and son at the end.
Right. Also, I saw your like little like chart for bad moms. I don't know where you get off on saying Peggy is a bad mom.
Peggy is okay. Where do I begin?
Where do you begin on this Peggy slander?
Oh yeah, no, okay. So Peggy kidnaps child.
Oh, okay.
From Mexico.
To be okay.
Because she won't admit that she can't actually speak Spanish.
Okay, let me backtrack a little bit, saying I have not watched a whole lot of King of the Hill, and the portions that I know about through GIFs and shit, and like videos on Tumblr, paint Peggy in a pretty alright light. That she kidnapped a Hispanic child from Mexico, not doing any favors for Peggy Hill.
Yeah, she has multiple times undercut Bobby. Okay, maybe I should. Yeah, multiple times she's like undercut Bobby. As soon as she was mentally disabled.
There was the Christmas episode where they're trying. Oh wait, no, it was a Thanksgiving episode, wasn't it? Where they're trying to,
It was either Christmas and Thanksgiving, but it was a turkey, and then rather than admit that Bobby is a good cook, she like steals the turkey and then in her like nightgown drives across town. Or like, no, she steals a bike and like Joseph's bike and rides it across town to then say that like to another guy's house to like cook for him.
Okay, I didn't know about that. I was talking about the episode where they were like leaving town to go spend holidays with like relatives and shit, and Peggy trying to undercut Hank, like, is like she's just a crazy person the whole time. Just like Hank is like, I'm going to stay in line right here because they're going to call our names eventually for our airplane, and we're going to be ready for that. And then Peggy was like, hey, Bobby, do something insane to like distract your father. And Bobby was like, okay. And then while he was distracted, Peggy fed Hank fake false information about, like, I don't remember it very well. I need to watch Hank.
Peggy does a lot of shit like that where it's like to try and maintain a sense of like power or authority. She does it absolutely to Luann. constantly.
Oh God.
To the point, like, there was that whole, like, the fucking. What's the Luann's husband's name? Bucky, I think?
I
I'm blanking
guess
on his name. But, like, how she does the whole thing where, like, not letting him marry Luann.
Okay, maybe Peggy's a little
Or sabotaging
boring.
his own. Because he was trying to get. Yeah, he was trying to get, like, his GED, and then Peggy sabotaged him.
Okay, maybe
So, like,
Peggy is a nutcase.
Get a GED, yeah. Yeah, no, she's not the worst parent, but she is a terrible person.
She's better than Rose Quartz. That's all I have to say.
The ground is better than Rose Quartz.
The ground is better than Rose Quartz. Oh my God.
Hang on, if we want to just go into this, I'll pull up the chart I made. And then I'll share it.
We're at like almost 30 minutes.
We're at 30 minutes already? Okay.
We are almost at 30 minutes from talking about this random bullshit. Random thing I have to talk about, though, regarding comedic, like, episodic with a bit of an overarching story plot, watch Tuca and Birdie.
Yeah.
Tuca and Birdie, really good. Netflix canning it after one season, really shitty of them. Adult Swim picking them up for more seasons, all the power to them. Because Tuca and Birdie is a real great cartoon. Real great, like adult animated show that has, like, a great amount of, like, crazy, zany things going on. But then, like, a perfect amount of, like, serious shit that they talk about. Like, it is the counter to BoJack Horseman.
Like, wait, the positive counter.
Yeah, it's the
like, BoJack Horseman isn't a bad show. It's just incredibly fucking depressing.
Yeah, nothing goes right for anybody on that show. Jesus Christ. Where do you put Linda from Bob's Burgers on this list of moms?
That's how we were calling it an episode.
Oh, we're still. Oh. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. You said